This latest chapter of Black Clover gave me chills, as I bet it did for many of you. Yuno received a second Grimoire, and for the first time in his life, he used his real magic. But Yuno Star magic wasn't what made this one of my favorite chapters. What Yuno getting a second type of magic means is what's made me so excited. So excited that I did something I never thought I'd do: start an anime YouTube channel. Throughout the manga, Asta and Yuno have been pretty even in terms of power levels and forms. Asta unlocked his black form and Yuno Spirit Dive. Yuno then surpasses limits to gain the spirit of Boreas and Asta Devil Union. Now though, it's been revealed that Licht and Tetia's unborn child was reincarnated in Yuno, which was why during the Elf Reincarnation Arc, Yuno said, "I am Yuno, a magic knight from the Clover Kingdom and nobody else." Since his birth, the Elf and Yuno have inhabited the same body, experienced the same events, and for the most part, had the same thoughts, causing neither one to realize that there had been another inside of Yuno's body all along. That is, until chapter 308, when the elf spoke to Yuno separately for the first time, and Yuno received his true Grimoire. Because of this though, one could assume that Yuno, for his entire life, had no magic similarly to Asta, as after receiving the 5-leaf clover, Asta gained anti-magic, which actually belongs to Liebe, and it was also revealed that Tetia had conceived twins, but after the attack by the humans, one of the twins died. And the reason why Yuno has the elf was because Nero sealed both Tetia and that baby's wounds. So what if Liebe was the child that died? It would make sense that Yuno, the prince of the Spade Kingdom, a child loved by mana, with one of the greatest magical attributes we've seen so far, had the child that survived. And Asta, the boy born to a peasant who had no mana, had the child that died. And due to the parallels Tabata has clearly made with these characters, it's obvious to me that after Yuno gets his time in the spotlight and defeats Zenon, some greater threat will force Asta to surpass its limits again, and like Yuno, possibly receive another Grimoire with his true power. Now I don't think that Asta will ever use magic, because since birth he's had no mana, and this was most likely due to Richita unintentionally absorbing his mana while he was in the womb. However, Asta's true power could have something to do with mana absorption, or even ki, and while this is a bit crazier speculation, could take on the form of fire, similar to his father Alan. The first time we were introduced to a character that closely resembled Asta, she turned out to be his mother, and in chapter 306, we were introduced to Alan, a character who is identical to Asta in almost every way, from the way that he saved and befriended a weak and timid Zenon, the fact that they both vowed to be commander-in-chief of the Mage Defense Force, and most importantly his appearance and the fact that he wields a sword makes me believe without a shadow of a doubt that Alan is in fact Asta's father. But one thing that's always interested me were the parallels between the Tree of Kabbalah, or life, in the Elf Reincarnation Arc, and the new Tree of Qliphoth, or death, in the Spade Kingdom Raid Arc. We know that to bring the devils from the underworld to the living world, a sacrifice using world tree magic and dark magic must be used. However, as we learned in chapter 306, just a few panels before Alan was introduced, there's actually a fourth Zogratis Sibling, and as we know, the underworld is ruled by 3 devils, each harnessing the power of gravity, space, and time. Dante and his devil Lucifero control gravity, Zenon and his devil Beelzebub control space, but Vanica and her devil Magecula do not control time, rather curse warding magic, which means that the 4th Zogratis Sibling and his devil must control time. But the only character in all of Black Clover so far that has used time magic is none other than the 28th Wizard King Julius Novachrono, and this is where it really starts to get interesting, because I believe that the 4th Zogratis Sibling, Julius Novachrono, and Alan are all the same person. Since we were first introduced to the Wizard King, Julius has been using transformation magic to turn himself into an old woman, and probably countless other personas as he sneaks around the Clover Kingdom looking for new interesting types of magic. The Wizard King also shocked the world after his battle with Patry by revealing that he didn't die, but instead used the 13 years of life that he had stored up to survive. However, something that never sat right with me was the fact that at 42, Wizard King Julius only had 13 years of life saved, and now I figured out why. 13 years before, Julius was killed by Zenon to defeat the unnamed devil that was attacking the Spade Kingdom. After learning that his brother had the greatest aptitude for being a devil host out of the other 2 siblings, he used his alter ego Alan to catapult his younger brother into a worthy vessel for Lucifero. However, after realizing that a good-natured Zenon would not be enough for their plan, he sacrificed himself, causing Zenon to again surpass his limits. Using his devil's time magic, he was able to go back and basically live a second life as Julius Novachrono, joining the Aquadiers, meeting William Vengeance and Yami Skihiro before eventually becoming the Wizard King. And we know that this is in fact possible, as in chapter 281 Julius advanced his body by 10 years, and while it was only for a short time, why would he not be able to rewind himself too? Around the time that he became Wizard King, Alan would fall, and his ability to store time resumed. 13 years then passed before he fell to Patry, but where does Alan's fire magic come in? Well, just like his siblings, the fourth Zogratis had a magical attribute, which in this case was fire, and was given time magic by his devil. In Black Clover, fire is one of the most common types of magic, with the Vermilions, Magna, Mars, Fauna, Zara Ideal, Teresa Rapal, and Father Orsi Orphi, just to name a few, all having fire attributes. So the reason why Zenon never noticed that his brother and Alan were one and the same was because he obviously didn't know about his ability to transform, and because two different people in the Spade Kingdom having fire magic would not be uncommon. As for Julius's Grimoire being a special one-of-a-kind time book with no cover, and not fire, could also be explained through transformation, as we've seen that incredibly powerful arcane mages like Grey can not only transform themselves, but inanimate objects. There are three more reasons why I think that Julius, Alan, and the fourth Zogratis sibling are the same person. Julius's time magic is possibly one of the only things that could sustain Richita's mana absorption, allowing them to have Asta. However, after his death at the hands of Zenon, he was forced to leave. This is the reason why even after meeting Asta and becoming quite good friends with him, he has no idea that Asta is actually his biological son. For the Qliphoth Advent ritual to take place, both a mage with World Tree and a mage with Dark Magic must be placed in the magic circle, combining their magical attributes. And Julius was the only character that treated both William and Yami with respect, seeing their full potential, and eventually making them captains of their own Magic Knight squads. But they're also the two mages necessary for the sacrifice to allow the devils to travel from the underworld to the living world. So it's clear to me that Julius, through his ruse of trying to find new and interesting types of magic, was actually searching for Yami and William. But the most important reason is something that Tabata intentionally included, and it's way too obvious for it to just be a mistake: the clock tower. From chapters 274 to 280, the clock tower displayed the time of 6:36, even though more than 20 minutes had passed. The giant demon appeared and fought Marileona. Not and Jack fought Dante. The high-ranking twin devils appeared. Yuno wounded a 55 and 70% Zenon before another demon appeared, and the Dark Triad obtained their full 100% forms. After this, in chapter 284, time finally moved forward 10 minutes. But interestingly enough, in chapter 289, the clock tower showed a time of 6:36 again. And I've heard some people theorize that Beelzebub has a second magical attribute, which is time, or that Zenon actually has two devil hosts, both of which are possible. And that's the reason why, even though Yuno should have killed Zenon twice, at 55 and 70% Zenon survived. However, after going back and rereading the chapters, it just seems like all three of them were completely healed when they powered up from 55 to 70 and again to 100%. So Zenon, in my opinion, was not rewinding time to survive Yuno's attacks. Instead, what's most likely happening is that time is being altered by Julius's devil in some way that will benefit the Triad, or that will speed up the ritual from 7 days to a matter of minutes. Anyways, this video took quite a while to make, and it's the first one on this channel. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.